Hi there, welcome back. I'm TitusM9 or TitusM9, whatever you want to say, and welcome to episode 7 of Paradise. In the last episode, I told you that I had a problem with my villagers. They seem to be escaping from their little chamber I made here. Well, I think I may have figured out why. They are morphing through the glass. I'm not sure if that's exactly what was happening last time, but it's definitely plausible. I have managed to increase the number of villagers that I can take at any given time to a maximum so far of 5, and if I just let him go and give him a few seconds, grab my next villager, let them go too. Doing it this way, I can get the first one up to almost in there, and then hopefully fly and meet them before the second one gets there. Just need to break a couple of rails, and place a couple of rails to get my next villagers through. So let's see if we can do this. See, the first one's almost there, and I just need to beat that second one in. This is two. We got the third one coming. 3, break that rail, add a rail there. This is 4. And break that rail, add 1 rail there. It should be number 5. Now if I've counted that properly, that should be all the ones that are going to come in. Now I can just remove all of this. Prepare for the next one, and get my minecarts back. That's basically what I'm going to do for the rest of these villagers, so hopefully it won't take me too long to get them all in here, and then I need to get them some jobs. Here we are back, and I do have a little bit of possibly good news. You may have heard that my sound has been changing a lot throughout my episodes. Sometimes there's a really drastic change somewhere in the middle of the episode, and that may well be the case in this one too. You see, I've been trying to sort out my audio for a little while, and I think that now I finally have something that I really like. There was also something else I didn't really consider as well, and that was the spatial audio for anyone listening on headphones. For me, it never really used to have spatial audio, except now there's an actual dedicated left and right channel, which means that the sounds that you're hearing, if you're wearing headphones and YouTube allows it, should be coming through the correct side. Anyway, back to business. Over here I have cartographers, and I have increased basically all of their levels to the maximum level that I can, and shout out to anyone who noticed that this spot was empty. It's been empty the whole time because apparently somewhere along the lines I did forget to put a villager in there. I have also got a zombie behind these guys, and I have zombified them and then cured them. In saying that, that means that I can use these guys to purchase glass from with the emeralds that I've collected right there, and I can turn those into glass panes. You can see I stocked some up already. I can turn those into glass panes, and I can take them over to these cartographers, and they will happily buy my glass panes off me for diamonds. And it works out that I get more diamonds for the trade with the panes than it cost me to buy the glass from them in the first place. This is going to be my main way of collecting emeralds, but I also have a few other trades. So I've got some clerics around here, and these guys I've just been selling a bunch of rotten flesh to, and you can see from the empty shulkers that I have actually sold quite a bit to them already. These guys have also been zombified, and I've also killed them as well, which means that my rotten flesh is a little bit cheaper. These trades aren't really ideal because they take a little bit longer to work than the other ones, because I have to go through... Yeah, let me show you. So when I click on this emerald, I have to then do this a few times over until their trade locks. To be honest, there could be an easier way for me to do it, and I could just be being a noob, so please definitely let me know if that's the case, because I would hate to waste too much time on this. I also have I also have a guardian farm, which allows me to trade some of the ink that I get from them to these guys, because they also trade ink. I haven't been doing too much of that because I do want to make sure that I always have a bunch of black dye whenever I need it, but I've done a few stacks of these for them already. And the other trade I'm doing, of course, is bookshelves. If they sell for 2 emeralds, that means that 1 bookshelf will actually give me 3 books. And I can then go ahead and sell those books. There you go. For 1 emerald each, which gives me an extra emerald every time I buy one of these. However, that trade's not always at 2 diamonds, so I only collect it whenever it's at 2 diamonds. Otherwise, what I'm really doing is just going for the glass, and as you can see, I have stocked up quite a bit of that already. And I'm getting very fortunate because the bookshelves on these guys are staying quite low. Glass is the most important thing for me to get at the moment though. So what I'm going to do for the time being is, you can see there, the bookshelf was 3. This guy here is a bookshelf with 3. Sometimes if you trade them and give them a second, the bookshelves actually do go down to 2. Which is one way to get them. I'm not sure why this guy has a trade here for 4 books for 1 emerald. As far as I'm aware though, the trades do actually go back up in price. I'm not 100% sure why. Whether the villagers just forget eventually that you saved them and you have to kind of repeat the process, or whether there's some other reason why they do it. So I'm going to keep going with these trades for a little while. I do already have a bunch of books, enchanting books, and various ones as well. I think I've got most of the important ones. There's still a couple that I'm missing. And as you can see, I did decide to put these guys down at the bottom level. I will have to put more up at the top, but I'm not really too worried about that. I just wanted to fill in this space a little bit. Now over here we have the masons, and I haven't really done too much with the masons. I look at the first guy, and you can see that he is max level. Not a good representation. You can see he's stone, 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 and all the way around these guys are stone, and they haven't been cured, so all of their trades are still really expensive. I will eventually get to these guys, but they're not that important right now, since I'm not actually after the blocks that they're giving me yet. I will, of course, be getting as much of this quartz as I can. That means I'm not going to have to go to the nether and mine it every time I want some quartz, and I am actually going to need some quartz for one of my upcoming builds that I have coming on. So once I finish doing some trades, maybe I'll get another zombie over there and zombify these guys. I do also have a armorer somewhere. I've got 2 of them. They didn't really give me very good items. So this one here is fantastic. I'm definitely going to keep this. In fact, I'm already wearing 2 of those boots put together with some other enchants on them. This guy here didn't really give me anything. I was expecting, I don't know why, but I was expecting boots and a helmet. Maybe let's give this trade a little bit more. And let's see if they do actually give me something else. So these guys are only emerald and he's diamond now. Okay. That's not very good either. But regardless, these are good backups just in case. So let me buy a couple of these. And we'll see what this guy gives me. Fire protection and projectile protection. I'm not interested in those 2 either. So that guy will probably meet his demise very shortly. Anyway, as I was going to say, and I keep procrastinating about, I'm going to keep trading these guys for some emeralds. This is incredibly boring, so I'm not going to make you watch it. And then once I'm finished, I'm going to get some resources going and start building some more of these houses around here. So I'm going to keep doing this, and inevitably this is going to take me hours, but for you it's going to be approximately 3 seconds. Oh, also, I have filled this top part up now. There's a bunch of dirt there just holding them in place, but I will now eventually get all these guys converted into... Oh, you're still in the minecart. I will eventually get all of these guys converted into trading villages so that I can trade a little bit faster. I'm probably going to do 2 rows, 1 row here maybe of the librarians and 1 row over here or over there of the cartographers. That way I can do some faster trades. Why is this empty? Well, I lied to you. Apparently I'm down 2 villages. I would love to know why. Anyway, I'm going to fill up those 2 spaces. Oh, I know why. They're in the doorway. I'm going to fill up these 2 spaces and I'm going to start getting these guys prepared to trade. Outside of working with the villagers, what I also want to do is clean up the surrounding areas a little bit. I've moved a little bit from around here already. Basically, I just want to take this all back to being a really plain background, and from there what I can do is start creating some pathways to these different buildings. I do have some ideas of what I want to do with in respect to some of the new builds that I want to put out. I've got a really large opening over here and it goes straight down into a cave system, and I'm thinking maybe I could put some kind of mining works or something like that through here. I'm not quite sure exactly what I'm going to do with that, but that is my plan currently. Also, I'm going to get another build and put it up here, probably, and then dot another couple of buildings around the place like I have mentioned before. But what I'm going to do at the moment is just start with a little bit of pathing. It almost certainly isn't just going to be this grass path, but this is a good start to shape out where I want to. This is going to go down into the front of this building, and it's also going to connect up to this house. I am going to replace a lot of this probably with some coarse dirt, but I do need to stock up on my supplies of coarse dirt before I start actually putting it in. So for now, we're just going to start with the grass pathways. I haven't really planned any of this out too much, but I do plan on dotting some trees and things around these areas just to make the place a little bit more full. Wanted to start off with a little bit of pathing, that way I can get an idea of the general layout of the area and see what kind of real estate I have to put some more builds in. I can see already that I have quite a nice big chunk right here. Probably not going to put a building in, but I could put some kind of a feature in there. And I also want to join up this lighthouse with the rest of this place. And a great place to do that would be kind of right here, but this slopes down a little bit too much to build any kind of real pathway out of. So I might just raise this up to meet it a little bit and then put a pathway through, joining up with the lighthouse. Now for this one I could put some kind of a pathway through, or I could build a bridge, and I'm thinking that just because this terrain is a little bit messy, there's not very much going on here, that I'm going to do a land bridge. So I'm just going to build up the land around it a little bit and give it a bit more of a natural shape. Hey, look at this. Here I've done a couple of patches of ground which they have quite a lot in them, but this is definitely looking a lot better than it was before with just the plain ground. So this is the kind of theme I'm going to keep rolling with around all of these different areas. You can see I've really only done this little patch here and just the central patch. And I've also made a land bridge over to the lighthouse. And for this one I raised up this side a bit. It was dipping down quite far, so I tried leveling out the terrain just a little bit, but I'm probably going to have to do a little bit more here and there and probably block up that hole. On this side I wasn't too sure what to do. I made a bit of a steep cliff and then I didn't like it, so I've done a little bit of texturing. Now I've never done this kind of terraforming or texturing type stuff before, And I feel like there's something a little bit wrong with this. I just haven't quite figured out what that is yet. So I'm going to let this sit for now. And then I'll probably come back to it in a little bit once I've really thought about how to make it what I want it to be. Whether that just means extending the concrete down a little bit further and maybe removing some of that dirt. I'm not sure if that will make it look better, but I will give a few things a go and see what looks better. In the meantime, I have also been putting some sea lanterns around the place. They will be covered up eventually. I just wanted to make sure that the mobs weren't spawning too much around this area where I was going to be working in. And I will continue this. I'll continue to put sea lanterns around the rest of the build as well. And then when it comes time to do a bit of terraforming, adding some trees and stuff, I will then cover them up. So we've got several laid around here, and I've covered all of those with a bit of moss or moss carpet. And in my tree, I have a few lights scattered about as well. Tell me if you can spot any. I can't. But let me show you what I've done, because I wanted the tree to be lit up even at night time. So I've just put some end rods just hidden in the leaves there. And I also wanted to make it look a little bit less plain than just the green. I was going to do a couple of textured... I was going to do a couple of different types of leaves just to make it pop a little bit more, but I didn't end up doing that. But I may come back to that in the future. I do see that I've missed a spot. There's another light source as well. And I've also chucked these peonies. Peonies. Just around the place to get the tree a little bit more color. I didn't want them to be super noticeable. I just wanted the tree to just have a little bit more color than just the green and these little flowered leaf boxes. I don't know what they're called. For the underside of the tree, I've just tucked a few saplings down and a couple of rock formations. The rock formations help break up the grass a little bit and give you a little bit more color to look at as well when you're looking around there. And I just added this kind of fence post in bits and pieces around to give you more of the idea that there is actually a natural pathway to go down. Of course, you can just access it wherever you want to. I'm going to do a similar thing around in this area here and back over here as well. And also just dotted around the place with all of the other builds that I'm going to be putting around here. So I do want to start getting some ideas ready for a build that's going to go in here. I'm still not entirely sure how I'm going to pull that off. And this will probably be the first time I've ever done a mine shaft slash mining type build. Hello. You could be dangerous, so you can go. So I'm not sure how exactly that's going to turn out. I forgot I was poisoned. And then I just took that last tiny half a health of damage when I hit the ground. Did I get everything? I think so. I still haven't fixed the interior of this from the creeper that I had drop from the ceiling. And on the side of all of that, I have also been doing a little bit of work with these villagers. Just stacking up some emeralds and doing some pondering on what else I'm going to put in here. You can see I put all of these villagers in, and it's been a few days now, and I still don't really know what I'm going to do with the rest of them. I definitely need some more librarians to get some of those last few books that I don't have. And I at least now have a way to get apples. One of these people sells apples. There we go. Apples without having to cut down a bunch of trees. It only took me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tries to get that. Well, 4 tries if you don't count the last 2 that probably shouldn't exist. From there, I'm going to continue to do a little bit more landscaping around here, and let's get into this build. And we'll see what, if anything, I can come up with. I made a thing. Let's have a look. Here we go. Grand View Mines. The aptly named because it has a view of things. Oh, a wandering trader. What you got for me? Ooh, I will come back for some of this. Stay there. Here we have Grandview Mines. My brand new mine, I guess. It's a mine, whatever. This was what I had envisioned to go in this place. Mostly, I'm not the best builder, but I'm kind of proud of this one. Like I think I've done a good job. We got the crane bringing up the valuable resources from below. We have a storage place where all of the stuff that comes out of the mine sits before it gets carted away somewhere else. We've got signs telling you to watch your step because it's a cliff. It goes into the mines. You'll die if you go down there. But there is also a entrance on right sign because you're telling people to watch your step, right? But you kind of need to let them know where to go too. So let's go and have a look down in the mines, shall we? This first platform is where all the raw resources are kind of held between taking them from the mines and bringing them up to the surface for consumer goods, of course. We can have a look over the edge. We can see some resources still yet to come up, and just here we've got our little pulley systems that are daisy. Maybe I should leave it there. That's kind of cool. It's a little bit active. Can we? Oh no! It's gone. It's gone. It's gonna be stuck down there with the rest of them. Okay, maybe I'll replace that in the future. Anywho, we have our pulley systems to bring up some of the raw materials from below up to this kind of mid-level deck where they're taken up. We have a clock just to let the miners know when it's lunchtime. Further down in the mines, we've got a few different pathways that extend in different directions that take the miners to where all the resources are. If we follow this one here around, we'll find that it opens up into a little bit of a cave entrance, which doesn't really have anything except for a light in the end. Maybe I will expand these out a little bit more. Maybe I'll start mining some resources in here so that I can really open up these and, well, gather some resources in the future. Things like copper, which I've ended up using a lot of in this, but I also kind of need copper, so not sure what I'm going to do there. We've got another entrance up there, another one down here, which is kind of supposed to be more of a vertical dip into a cave, which again, there's not really much there, but maybe in the future I'll open that up and expand it out a little bit more, add like a little bit of water or something like that to it. We have scaffolding scattered around the place and some down here, which is predominantly holding up these kind of rock faces, stopping them from falling down and, you know, hurting any unsuspecting miners. We also have minecarts scattered around the place just to give that kind of feel of liveliness, or that something is actually happening. And I'm gonna probably switch out a few of these for maybe some furnace minecarts, and even fill them up with some coal and have them driving around, or pop some redstone rails down and just have the carts kind of moving backwards and forwards in various different places here to really give this some the feeling of life, I guess. On our top layer we have another couple more little caving entrances. These ones here a little bit bigger, but they essentially have the same thing. These turn off to the side so that it gives the illusion that there is actually more there. Although I think if I got rid of these, it may just give a slightly bigger impression that there is somewhere to go. Yeah, I think that looks better. We have torches laid out all over the place. Most of them are sitting on pieces of fence posts just to give the feeling that they have been intentionally placed rather than just having a kind of torch bombing happening. I did just notice though that I've got a few sea lanterns scattered around the place, which shouldn't be here, so there's quite a lot. I'm not sure how I missed all of those, because I came back through here and I kind of reset all the torches to make sure that everywhere was lit up enough so that mobs didn't spawn in here, but I missed a part of that process, which would have been taking all the sea lanterns out. I ended up, this part here was actually open to the outside world, but it felt a little bit unnatural to have the light coming from here, and then as you looked in you got a bunch of natural light over this side as well. I have mostly kept this area untouched. You can see there are some mine shafts down there, but I think that maybe if I expand this out and around that corner, it will really give the idea of depth here, that there is more than just what you see here, and it'll kind of make it feel much larger. So I'm probably gonna do that in the future, and I'll also have to do something about this ceiling because it's a little bit too plain, a little bit too flat at the moment. But this mine will continue to progress forward. I will continue to add things to it. Not sure that I'll show them in videos unless there's a substantial difference to what I've done. Otherwise, just around the sides of the mines, I've done a bit of landscaping where you would expect people to walk around, where the grass would be a bit more mushy and where grass probably doesn't grow that well. I've added some, especially along the pathways to the entrance where most people are probably walking, and I've also laid out some moss blocks. This is mostly just so that I can hide the lamps that I've got underground for lighting, of course, but also just because it breaks up the green of the grass and it just adds a little bit more color to it and a little bit more depth. In here, I don't really have too much going on, just a seat with some levers for the crane operator to pull. And of course, lock themselves in. No one can get in anymore. That's how logic works. And a clock, obviously, because they need to know when it's lunchtime too, which I think it's almost bedtime. I don't actually know how to read these clocks, but I assume that's telling me that the night is just about to come, especially because it looks like the moon there, and it looks like the setting sun, and the sun is definitely setting. So I should probably sleep. But before that, around the outside of the base, I have added like quite a lot more of these sea lanterns, again just to light up the area so that mobs don't get in and destroy things that I've already built. And I will again continue to do that, and I'll continue to mold this area into something that looks a little bit more natural. And when I do that, that will mean that I'll be putting moss blocks, trees, everything else in there. Of course, covering up the sea lanterns, because we don't really want those kind of staring at you when you're flying around, you know. Keep them covered. Keep them covered. On that, we have successfully completed a few things in this episode. We've got some vegetation happening over at the front and near the witch's hut. We've also built the land bridge. However, the sides of the mountain here, or sides of the hill, are still yet to be finished. And I've done a lot of trading off screen and completed the filling up of our villages. Now, I need to go and get some resources to trade this wandering trader. Yeah, I definitely want to get some of this. Oh. Wait, is it going to be really hard to get? How common is that specific block of diamond ore? Is it quite uncommon now? I'm unsure. I guess I'll need to find out. But for now, we'll leave it there. I hope that you have the best, the most fantastic day that you can have. And I will see you next time. See ya.